I'm now going to pass you over to Jack Russell. He's not a wicket keeper, and he's not an oil painter. And I'm not going to say anything else.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Just to say, what incredible talent. And there is talent everywhere in this room. In fact, when I walked into this school today, I always call it the 5-minute rule. What do you feel? And the one thing I came away with in my head is enthusiasm. Everyone was positive, everyone was motivated. So I'm going to take you through a journey now for the next 45 minutes, which is going to be fun. But imagine that you walked into this room and you thought to yourself, where am I going to sit? Some people thought right to the back, some people thought to the front, to the middle, to the left, to the right. You either did it consciously, you really thought about it, or you did it without thinking. How many people really thought about where you were going to sit? Just a quick show of hands. And how many people just did it without thinking? In the next 30 seconds, could I ask you to go and sit somewhere safely, completely different, please, in the next 30 seconds? And I imagine that I can hear some of you going, oh no. And you might notice if you have changed seat, you might notice it looks different. You've got a different vision, you've got a different perspective. People may look better where you're now sitting. You might notice it sounds different, it might be quieter, it might be louder. You might notice there's a different tone, pitch, rhythm in the room. You might also notice that it feels different. It either feels more comfortable or less comfortable. In fact, if I said to you that every single one of you in this room has got a comfort zone, and if very, very quickly, if I just talk about some work I was doing last year, I was working with the Olympics, and we know that if you want to be world class at whatever you do, you need to do something 10,000 times. You need to put 10,000 hours into whatever you're doing, and you need to do it over 10 years. So that's about 3 hours a day of being world class. In fact, can I just ask you to cross your arms, please? Now, for many of you, you're world class at crossing your arms. But if I could ask you to cross them the other way. Some people even had to look down. Another 9,999 times you'd be world class at that too. But if I said to you that now that you've moved, potentially, underneath one of your chairs is a yellow dot. And if you had that yellow dot underneath your chair, I'm going to ask you to come up here and sing, dance, or talk about yourself for 1 minute. Can you quickly check directly underneath the chair, see if you've got it on there? And if you just did that, and there was no yellow dot underneath your chair, how many people got a massive sense of relief? How many people quite disappointed? Okay, you can be my first volunteers. But would you agree that when you were learning to walk, and I'm not talking about the other night, when you were learning to walk, you probably fell over, you got up again, you fell over, you got up again, and you never said to yourself, look, if I get this wrong, I'll be crawling for the rest of my life. You knew intuitively, instinctively that it would happen. And yet, what happens to us as adults, as young adults, we start keeping in our comfort zones. In fact, if I asked for a volunteer right now, how many of you would say yes, come up here? Yet, if you were all 7 years old, I bet you almost every single one of you would go, yes, something happens. And I think we need to spend a little bit of time getting into this stretch zone so that we do things. We start volunteering more. We start, as one of the people who came up, we take more opportunity. We start saying yes to things. Because beyond that, we get into this other zone called the panic zone. And that's often where we lose our confidence, our self-belief, and often our attitude isn't as effective as it could be. So tonight it's a little bit about our attitude and doing things in a slightly different way. Just to introduce myself, my name's Jack Russell. I've worked with 100,000 people. I'm really passionate about people, study psychology. I work a lot with Olympic athletes, we work with royalty, we work with prisons. I go in and select teams to go to the North Pole, the South Pole. We work with people who go to Everest. We select our ambulance crews. But above all, I'm really passionate about education. and looking at what we can do differently to get people happier, more motivated, more positive about life. Just have a quick look at this, and you might notice that it looks one way, but if you turn it on its head, you might notice that it looks different. Now, I'm not saying in the coffee break afterwards, if you look at your colleagues or your loved ones or your parents, that they'll look better. But the thing we'd like to do is think about doing things a bit differently. Just a quick question. How many people in this room would agree that there is more talent, there is more knowledge, there is more skill, there is more ability than perhaps we bring to college or work on a daily basis? Who would agree with that? There's more talent in every single one of us than perhaps we bring to life on a daily basis. And then how many people would agree that we're being asked to do more in less time? We send an email at 3,000 miles a second. We're being asked to do things quickly, immediately. Let me just show you something. Can I ask you, just on the count of three, just to say the words out all together? So just the words this time, and we just read them out all together on the count of three. Ready? Quite loud. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Now what I'm going to do, and I really apologise if anyone's colourblind, is I'm going to ask you just to say the colours this time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to do it faster, I'm going to ask you to do it really, really quick, and I'm really going to push you, so it's just the colours this time. Apologise if you're colourblind. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go. Faster, quicker, come on, faster, quicker, quicker, faster, quicker, quicker, quicker. Some people are just going blue, red, green, yellow. But we all have these incredible minds. And we talk about these two minds. We've got a conscious mind, which is the voice inside your head. It's the voice that talks to you. And it goes a little bit like this. If I asked for a volunteer, it might be the one that would say, don't put your hand up, don't say yes. It's the one that says no, can't, won't, don't. Critical, negative, analytical, it holds you back. And this conscious mind that we've got often stops us from doing things. In fact, when we're born, we're only born with 2 fears. Anyone shout out the 2 fears that you start off with? Death, that's a good one. Tax, abandonment, anyone else? Hunger. The 2 fears we start off with are loud noises and falling. And the thing is, though, that we don't work when we're children with our conscious mind so much, the one that's critical, negative and analytical, the one that's often in your car. We work subconsciously. Now, the conscious mind is a bit like a screen of a computer. If you put too much up on it, what happens? It crashes. And the conscious mind will only take in about 7 bits of information at any one time, plus or minus 2. So I'm just going to test that little theory so we can take up to 9 bits of information down to about 5. Can I ask you just to repeat back these numbers, please? 5, 4, 7, 9, 12.
5, 4, 7, 9, 12.
32, 18, 11, 5.
32, 18, 11, 5.
65, 54, 23, 74, 19, 8, 6, 5. Crash your conscious mind. Now let me also talk with your conscious mind, the one that's critical, analytical and negative. How many people in this room are good at singing? Just raise your hands. If you don't think you're good at singing. How many people aren't good at dancing? How many people aren't good at playing a musical instrument? How many people aren't good at painting? How many people aren't good at drawing? And so it goes on. All those hands that go up. If you were 7 years old, you'd probably never say, I can't do that or I can't do this. Because children work on their subconscious, the part of the mind which is automatic. In fact, take a quick look around this room. Take a 360 look around the room. Notice the detail that you're taking in. You're taking in millions of bits of information. You're right now, I bet there's no one sitting there saying, keep breathing. You know, telling their heart to keep pumping. It happens automatically. There's anyone who drives, just got to work one day, and you just think, how did that happen? The fact is that's the subconscious. And we need, I think, to focus on doing things right, putting the right strategies into our subconscious. Now, many people have strategies, and let's look at those for a while. Let's just talk about it. So somebody's out for a night on the town, and somebody says, would you dance, or would you sing karaoke, would you get up and make a speech? If people don't want to do that, what do? Run. People take alcohol, all sorts of things, and it quietens the conscious mind. But actually, if we get it right, we need, I think, to focus on doing things automatically, starting to put the right confidence in, rather than using false confidences. In fact, there was an amazing bit of information, a book called Breakpoint and Beyond, and they took 1,600 children, and they wanted to see how many of these children were genius, but genius in the way they thought. So they weren't going to be held back by good, bad, easy, hard, beautiful, ugly, black, white. These youngsters just did these tests. What percentage were in the genius category between age 3 and 5? Have a guess, just shout it. 100? 68%? 98% of the children between 3 and 5 were genius. And you probably heard the little story. There's a little girl painting a picture, and the teacher comes along and says, what are you painting? And the little girl says, I'm painting a picture of God. And the teacher says, well, we don't know what God looks like. And the little girl says, give it 5 minutes and you will. It is that concept that children work on a subconscious level. They do things automatically. They program themselves right. 8 to 10. What percentage were in the genius category? 100? 98? 32%. Same children, well done over there. Genius. Twice you got it right. Same children, young people were given these tests between the ages of 13 to 15. What percentage were in the genius category? 10%. 200,000 adults over the age of 25 were given similar tests. What percentage were in the genius category? 2%. But the good news is that anyone over 35, the genius starts to go up again. So we start getting more and more clever. But the concept is that we tell ourselves we can't. We're told that we're not good enough. We're not capable enough. And the one thing I get in this school, straight away, is you start telling yourself you can. If that's the product that we've just seen of people coming here from an amazing school, we need to tell people they can. I'm going to give you a shocking statistic of what we spend in this country on mental illness and depression. Anyone just shout out what we spend every year? 20 quid? 77 billion pounds we spend on mental illness and depression. 77 billion pounds. Have a look at the Sainsbury Foundation for Mental Health. We need to get people working with their brains more effectively. And I just want to talk a little bit about brains. Got 2 brains. Anyone, just hold that for a second. Anyone know the difference between these 2 brains? Could you just hold it up? Would that be all right if you just held it? You stood up and held it up. Anyone know the difference between these 2 brains? They're not male and female, but that would be the female brain. They are a child's brain and an adult's brain. This brain weighs about 3 pounds. It's the most powerful computer known to man and woman. Just pass it around, that'd be great. It's capable of generating 60,000 thoughts a day. It's got 100 billion connections. And 10 years ago, if you were to recreate one of your brain, we take your brain and we make it into a man or a woman-made computer. 10 years ago, what size building would we put it in? This size. The Houses of Parliament, and we need the River Thames water to cool it. And I worked with IBM the other day, and I mentioned this, and worked with the MBA students at Exeter University, and somebody came up to me and said, actually, Jack, 10 years ago that was correct. Now, it's a quarter of the Houses of Parliament and a quarter of the River Thames. The power in this brain that every single one of you have is phenomenal. And if we look at the brain, we've got 2 hemispheres. We've got the left side of the brain, which looks at linear, logic, sequence, numbers, and analysis. And we've got the right side of the brain, which is more about colour. It's more about imagination, rhythm, creativity. How many people in this room think they are predominantly left brain? Just show of hands, who's left brain? And how many people think they are right brain? And how many people think they're using both hemispheres effectively? About 6 people in the room. Now there is a link in between the 2 hemispheres called the corpus callosum. In women, it's like broadband. Information can go backwards and forwards really, really quickly. In men, sadly, it's like a 1920s telephone exchange. Right brain, got a call for you. Hang on a sec, we're a bit busy. One thing at a time. However, the future, for all of us in this room, every single one of us, has got to be on one hand to be logic and the other hand to be creative. But there's an even more important part in the brain called your RAS. It's not a night on the RAS, but it's your reticular activating system. And effectively, this is where you focus. So if I said to you, don't think about your big toe on your right foot, who's just gone there? Most people will tell you what they don't want in life rather than what they do want. Have you ever asked people, you say, what don't you want? And they say, well, I don't want to be upset, I don't want to put on weight, and I don't want to be unhappy. What do they get? Sad, fat, and ill. Because most of us focus on the wrong things. Now, I just need a volunteer, one person to come up here, and I just want to show you. Now remember, if you were 7 years, come on then. If you were 7 years old, every single one of you would have put your hands up. I'm just going to put this down. What's your name?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Charlotte, I'm going to ask you to put your centre of gravity, stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and I'm going to ask you to put all your centre of gravity in your head, then I'm going to ask you to put it in your feet.
In my head?
Yeah, you're going to think it. So you're going to think all your weight up in your head.
Jesus, that's a lot.
And then you're going to think all your weight down your feet and then in your stomach. So if you stand with your feet shoulder width apart. So I'm going to ask you now just to put all your centre of gravity up in your head, really, really high, and I'm just going to move you from side to side. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to think all your weight really high. Just think all your weight really high, and I'm just going to move you.
Really high?
Yeah, right up really high.
Okay.
Okay. Got it?
I'm trying.
Okay, weight really, really high, because where you think is where you go. What you think about, you bring about. All the weight up really high, high. Okay.
I can't think really high.
Okay. Now can I ask you, you did brilliantly. Just come and stand just a little bit there. Now can I ask you to feet shoulder width apart. Okay, now can I ask you to put all your weight in your feet. Really, really, in your feet, really low, in your feet, in your feet, in your feet. Back in your feet, in your feet. Right, back up in your head, really high. High.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Just high, high. You did really well. Go on, high.
High.
Okay. Now can I ask you to put it in your stomach? Remember your feet, just keep your feet where they were. Put it in your stomach and feel really strong, stronger than you felt for a long time. Really strong, stronger balance, strong.
Like push someone out?
No. Whatever you want to do, Charlotte, but put it in your stomach. You're doing brilliantly.
Okay.
Center of gravity in your stomach, really strong, 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 strong. Right, back up in your head, really high, high.
High.
Take the seat. Well done. Thank you very much. Really great. Thank you, Charlotte. So the thing is, where are we focusing on a daily basis? If you're worried about things, chances are you're going to see more of it. And many people worry too much. Who worries in this room? Just be honest. Who worries about the good stuff? Who worries about the bad stuff? Yeah. And the thing is that where we focus is where we go. I'm just going to show you a very quick clip. And if you've seen this before, if you could still count, but the only time tonight, I'm going to ask you just to do this in silence. But I'm going to ask you to count how many times the people in the white tops throw and catch the ball. It's only the white tops. And it'll come quite quickly. Can anyone give me a number? How many times? 23? 18? Did anyone? 14? Did anyone see a gorilla walk past? Did anyone not see a gorilla walk past? Okay, just look around the rest of the room. can hear somebody in the front going, how do you miss a gorilla? I showed this to senior police officers, and one of them came up to me and said, look, Jack, we are trained to look at this stuff. I didn't see it, it must be wrong. But the fact is, if you're not looking for stuff, you don't see it. And how many times are we looking for the wrong stuff in life? We look for things to go wrong. We worry about things. And the more we look for it, the more we see it. In fact, if I could just ask you on the count of three, could I ask you just to shout out what this next series of words say? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Opportunity is nowhere, or opportunity is now here. And again, some people are going, I'm not happy with this, Jack. But the fact is, what you're looking for on a daily basis, if you've got 60,000 thoughts, 100 billion connections up here, if you seem to put the wrong stuff in, then you start getting the wrong stuff out. Can I ask you just to say this word loud, please? Just going to have a bit of fun with this. Can I ask you to say it really loud, please? Louder. Can I ask you to spell it? P-O-T-S. Louder again. P-O-T-S. Louder. P-O-T-S. Spell pots. P-O-T-S. Bit louder. P-O-T-S. Can I ask you to shout it? Louder. Can I ask you to shout pots? Louder. Louder. What do you do when you get to a green light? But some people said stop. And the fact is, though, that probably your Raz is thinking, what's the guy up in the front making me do this? In fact, I had a client who was driving home one day, and he drove home and he got to a green light, and he got totally confused. He just didn't know what to do. He rang me up and said, Jack, there were 30 people behind me, so I don't know what to do. You go. But this is what happens. When we see people, and when we get in touch with people, and we ask them how they are, what do most people say? Because most people react rather than respond. What do they say? I'm fine. Most people will say, I'm fine. I'm feeling inwardly negative expression. I'm fine. I mean, you don't hear people when you ask them how they are, they don't say, well, I'm teetering on the brink of pure perfection. But people say, I'm fine. People also say, I'm not too bad. What's the last thing the brain hears? Can I have somebody just to come up here with a strong right arm? Somebody who's quite strong, just to come up here, please. One person. Do you want to come up? One person. Now remember, if you do you want to come up? Just one person. Just to get that done. Give a round of applause. Okay, Dave. Okay, put your strongest arm out. And I'm going to ask Dave to really resist, and I'm going to attempt to push his arm down with my index finger. My index finger against Dave's right arm. Dave's strong. Now I want you to say, I'm strong and I'm good. Alright? Just say it out loud and really resist. So say it out loud. Ready? I'm strong and I'm good. Say it. I'm strong and I'm good. Say it. I'm strong and I'm good. I'm strong. Now, what I'm going to ask Dave now to do is I'm going to ask him to try and resist. Good word, try? If you say, can you come to my party next week, and someone says, I'll try and be there, what do you hear? They ain't coming. If somebody says, come around for a cup of tea sometime, what do you hear? Don't bother. So I want Dave now to say, I'm weak and I'm bad. And I want him to try and resist now. So you ready, Dave? I want you to say the words, I'm weak and I'm bad.
I'm weak and I'm bad.
Say it.
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 I'm weak and I'm bad.
It's pretty strong. Well done, Dave. How many times have you heard people say it's not a problem? You know, they say it's not a problem. What's the last thing the brain hears? Problem. How many times, in fact, I had a client once and he said to me, Jack, I've counted 15 times you said it's not a problem. He said, if you say it one more time, we won't work together. I almost said it's not a problem. How many times have you heard people say, I don't want to hurt your feelings, which means you probably will. I don't want to be unkind. Yes, I will. I don't want to be nasty. How many times have you heard people say I'm cold? Has 100 billion connections rather than I could be warmer. People say I can't rather than I can. People will say, as they walk into a room, sorry I'm late. How about the next time you walk into the room, you walk in and you say, sorry I'm behind schedule. You're still late, but schedule implies you've got one. Very different way of thinking. People say, don't forget, or I'll forget. What have you told the brain to do? Forget. How about this one? People say, I'm tired, I'm knackered, rather than I could have more energy. And actually, I was working with some young lads on Dartmoor, and one guy got his own back on me, and he informed me that it wasn't rain, he said it was liquid sunshine. And then I said to him, look, careful, you might slip. He turned around to me and said, Jack, I think you mean we could have more friction. Very, very different way of thinking. But your brain can't do what you tell yourself not to do. So if I said, don't think about a pink polar bear sitting on an exercise bike, pedalling madly, sweating profusely with a little blue hat on it, don't think about it. How many people thinking about it? Just going to show you how this works. Can I have a volunteer to come up here? I need 10 people, safety in numbers, and I'm going to ask you just to lower this bamboo to the ground, just with your index fingers up here. So I need 5 on this side, 5 on this side, and just need 10 volunteers. Who's going to come up quickly? Just go for it. Yeah, come on, come on. Some from this side? Yeah, come on, jump up. Up you come. And then if you just have your index fingers out, both index fingers out, fantastic. Just fingers underneath it. Maybe and a few more people, just a couple more people. Can I come up?
We better come this side. We'll hold you.
Got it? That's fantastic. One more. Yeah, one more. That's on this side. Right. I'm going to ask everybody to work together to lower this bamboo to the ground, keeping their index fingers underneath it. Both index fingers. And whatever you do, just don't bring it down a bit. So your job is to work together. You can't see, hopefully you'll be able to move around. Your job is to lower the bamboo to the ground. But whatever you do, don't let this bamboo rise. Don't think about it going higher and higher. Your job is to work together to lower it to the ground. So on the count of 3, are you ready? Both index fingers underneath it. Both index fingers. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Right,
Don't let it go up.
it's
But don't let it go up. Don't let it go up.
Okay, go down, go
Don't
down.
think about it going up. Keep your fingers underneath it at all times, but don't let it go up. Don't let it rise. Don't let it rise. Keep your fingers underneath it at all times. Keep your fingers underneath it. Underneath it. Underneath it. Don't let it go up. Don't let it go up. Don't let it go up.
and down.
Keep your fingers underneath it. Keep your fingers underneath it. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Give me a round of applause. How many times do we give youngsters a cup of water and we say to them, don't spill it? Last thing the brain hears is what? Spill it. Rather than keep the water in the glass. Remember, children work on a conscious level or a subconscious? Subconscious level. Ever see a youngster walking along a wall, going along brilliantly, and then the adult comes along with a conscious mind and says, don't fall. Got to think about falling before you think about not falling. Ask people what you want rather than what you don't want. Thank you for that last one. There are 4 types of people. You've got the people that say, I'm alright and you're alright. Things are good for us, we're happy, we're positive, we smile. And then you've got people that say, I'm not alright and you're not alright either. Terrible for us, isn't it? EastEnders last night, Coronation Street, dreadful. So I'm alright and you're alright, I'm not alright and you're not alright either. Terrible for us, I know it's not true. But then you've got people that say, I'm not alright, but you're alright. Things are good for you, but for me they're terrible. What's the 4th type? I'm alright and you're not alright, exactly. Can I have a quick volunteer just to quickly look at this? One person on this side to have a quick arm out and have a quick look. Somebody around the back. Who's going to... You want to do it? Whatever you do, don't do this. We're going to go. Should we do it? Okay. Nathan, I'm Sam. Hi. Nathan, if I could ask you just to put your strongest arm out and just look at that. Okay, just straight out like that. Just look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Look. Now can I ask you to look at one of these type? Yeah, I'm not alright, you're not alright either. The mood hoovers, energy thieves. Okay, just look at it, really look at it. Look. You of applause. Thank you. Ever met those sort of people and they make you feel pretty negative and they complain and they bring you down? Take a look at the fourth type. I'm alright, but you're not. There was some amazing work done in America at the Stanford Institute for Research, and they came up with this figure, 0.05%. Anyone know what it stood for? Pay rise? Yeah, very good. It was the amount of potential that most people tap into in their lives. 0.05% as an average. Now, obviously that's not happening in this school. But when we tell people they can't, they start to believe it. And I work a lot with the Royal Marines, and they came up with this advert. 99.99 need not apply. And I asked them how they got on with the advert, and they said, we're 600 short. Tell people they can't, and they start to believe it. And let me just show you where it all comes from. I just took this yo-yo. Just going to throw it down. A few moves. How many people would say show off? Just raise your hand and say show off. Okay. And how many people would say well done? Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I go into a room and I can do that and people will say show off. And it comes from often when we're at school. Do you know when you got 10 out of 10? I'm talking to the parents here. You got 10 out of 10? Some people being so jealous. It's a while ago. And you couldn't wait to go and tell friends and family and loved ones. And then you looked around the rest of the room and little Johnny had got 3, Sarah got 2, Mike had got 1. It's often at that time we learn to play ourselves down. Because to be too good is not good. And you look at what's happening in our media. We build people up and we knock them down. Would you agree with that? When I work with people like the Daily Mail and Metro newspapers, and we like to build people up and knock them down. But my point, and I can see it in this school, is that's not the culture. That's not what happens. It's about attitude. And attitude is vital. Loads of people have got skill, they've got knowledge, but attitude is the really, really important thing. That's the thing that I got from listening to everybody that takes people through. That's the important thing. Anyone know about the bumblebee? Anyone know about the bumblebee? Can anyone just give me a bit of an insight into the bumblebee? Does anyone know a story about it yet? They make honey? They can't fly, exactly. Aerodynamically, their wings are too small. Their power-to-weight ratio is wrong. There is no way that this you can take off. And it's been proved by scientists that bumblebees don't listen to scientists or people, and they fly. And they fly beautifully. And in fact, if we had no bees on this planet for the next 4 years, our food supplies would dwindle. This is nature's self-belief. They shouldn't, but they do. And how many of us have been a bumblebee? We've been told we can't. You can't play a musical instrument, you can't sing, you can't dance. We've been told that stuff. In fact, a quick story. I was running the London Marathon a few years ago, and a little old lady overtook me. And I was so annoyed, I caught up with her and I said, excuse me, do you mind if I ask how old you are? And she said, I'm 85 years young. Stop talking and keep up. Absolutely. And she went on, I almost went backwards. The fact is that we've got huge potential. And I want to just show you a quick clip, which might put a few things into perspective.
Come on, you have a nice ball.
Hold with your legs. Pull with your arms. Hold with your legs. Come on, Jimenez, move it. When the time comes, you've got exactly 34 seconds to clear that distance.
I really can't make it, Major.
Now, come on, Jimenez, move it. Don't stop now.
I can't.
Come on, Jimenez, move.
Really can't. Can't make it, Major. Can't make it. I can't make it.
Jimenez, you go back down that rope, you're going straight back to prison.
I can't. Really, I can't.
Sergeant, give me that weapon. Take a stand on that rope.
Can't make it. Can't make it. I can't. I really can't make it, Major. I can't. Boy, look at him go now. Gracias a Dios.
A lot of us say that we can't do things. We've been told, we tell ourselves. But I'd love one person to come up here who knows that they can break this piece of wood with their bare hands and they can go through this. Somebody who really has a bit of self-belief and who can make it happen. So I'm looking for one person. Now, let's go back to the comfort zone. Now, your conscious mind is probably going, do you think I can? Is that for me? You might notice that you've got a feeling in your stomach, which is the stretch zone, where you feel there's all sort of anxious or nervousness. But I just need one person, by the way, everyone in this room could do it. I just need one person to come up here and break this. So who knows that they can do it? Just looking for somebody who's really, really positive, who knows they can do it, who knows they can do it. Who else knows they can do it? Do I do it? Don't give me eye contact, Jack. Who knows they can do it? Whatever you do, don't volunteer. Just need one person who knows they can do it. Hi. Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? What's your name? Adam. And Adam, your arm's okay, your back's okay, you're totally happy about this? Ever done anything like this before? Not really. Good on you. Alright. Okay, Adam, we're just going to take Adam through a quick journey. And before we do that, a lot of you put your hands up and said you can't sing or dance. So I'm just going to ask you just to go stomp, stomp, clap on the count of three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Louder. Louder. A bit faster. Okay, work. We'll stop there. Okay, Adam. And what I want you to do is to stand here. And I'm going to ask you to do the similar thing that we did with Charlotte. Centre of gravity up in your head and your feet. And then we'll go for it, alright? So, come and stand here. Feet shoulder width apart. Okay, all your centre of gravity, take hands out here. All your centre of gravity, all your weight up really high. Really high, really high, high. Okay, that's good. All your weight really high, high. Okay, now, centre of gravity, deep in your feet, really deep in your feet. Deep, 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 deep. Deep in your feet, that's fantastic. Now put it in your stomach, and I want you to feel stronger than you felt for a long time. Really strong. Strong, 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 strong. That's it. Strong. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's do this. Right. I want you just to, are you right or left-handed? Left-handed. Okay, left-handed. So what I'd like you to do, I'm going to have to work with you on this. So put your right foot forward. Okay, just gently put a bit of weight on your knee. And I want you to have your left hand back and your right hand forward. So just roll your sleeves up a little bit so you just got, okay, that's good. So on the count of three, I want you to push your left hand forward and your right hand back. Ready? Slowly. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's it. Just rotate a little bit. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. Now what I'd like you to do is I want you to do a sound. Now, it's not going to be a it's going to be a real positive sound. So on the count of three, a bit faster this time. Okay, left hand is going to go forward and the right hand back on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ha! Fantastic. Okay, let's do this. We'll... Okay, if you can wrap this a few times. going to do it. If you need to see, then move around so you can see. Now, the demonstrations have been amazing tonight, Adam, so we're going to go for it. Okay. So I want you now just to get in that position again. So you're just going to just do an air shot to my hand. All right? So your fingers need to be bent. And we're going to use the heel of your hand just there. That's the bit that's going to touch gently on my hand. All right? So ready? 1, 2, 3, just gently.
Hi.
Whoa. I said gently, Adam. Okay, so really gently. This time an air shot, just gently to my hand. Okay, ready? Brilliant. Okay, remember this is the bit that I want to hit. So just really gently again. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now what I'd like you to do is close your eyes. And I'd like Adam just to visualize, because if you can go there in your head, you can often go there. So close your eyes, put your arms down, center of gravity in your stomach, and I want you to feel strong. But I want you to feel strong mentally. Just keep your eyes closed. And I want you, I'm going to say here, keep your eyes closed, and I want you just to feel strong mentally, center of gravity in your stomach, and I want you to feel that energy and that power up into your shoulders and into your hands. And I want you now to visualize this piece of wood, piece of pine wood that I want you to visualize going through. There'll be a cross on it, but I want you to aim it across on my chest. And I want you just to hear everyone, and it'll be stomp, stomp, clap. I will say 1, 2, 3. You'll go for it, and then you'll notice that everybody will clap incredibly. Okay, just going to do, you can open your eyes. Just going to do a gentle air shot just to touch the wood again. Just a gentle one, just to really, just make you do it properly, that arm forward. Okay, really gently. Okay, perfect. So I want you now just to totally relax. I probably want less energy from you, more mental energy. So one last time, so you're just going to aim at it. Just again, that arm forward. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Okay, so that arm forward. Fingers just bent and the heel there. Ready? 1, 2, 3, gently. Perfect. Okay, so on the count of 3, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. Can everyone see? Okay, so we're going to go for it. I'm going to ask the stomp, stomp, clap. I want you just to totally relax. And I want you to feel strong there, and I want you to go for it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Louder. 1, 2, 3, go. Well done. I'll get you. I've written a book called Don't Tell the Bumblebee. Most of you, I'd say, don't buy it. But I'm definitely going to give you a copy of it, Adam. That was absolutely fantastic. Give me a round of applause. I had a world champion kite surfer do that, and they didn't go through it. And I said to them, why didn't it happen? And they said, I just didn't believe it would happen. Every single person in this room can make it happen. Just going to close a little bit about the culture, perhaps, of this school. Everything you do is an action. And the smallest of things can have the biggest impact. Who camps in this room? Who's ever gone camping? Who's ever spent a night in a tent with a mosquito? Yeah. The smallest of things can have the biggest impact. But the smallest of things that we do are actions. Beyond that, they become a habit. It takes 21 days to change a habit. If you want to give up something, take up something, give it 21 days. Whatever it is that you want to change. Maybe it's about smiling a bit more, saying hello to people. Maybe it's that you want to just turn around and say that you're on, somebody asks you how you are, and you say, on Monday you're magic, Tuesday tremendous, Wednesday wonderful. I sign my emails, yours enthusiastically. And they come back, yours even more positive. But we need a bit more happiness, would you agree, in our society? And that's what I see in this school. 21 days. Beyond that, it becomes a style. Beyond that, it's an attitude or an approach. And then ultimately, beyond that, it's a culture. If we want to get people in our society today, because the most important part of our society are young people, I fundamentally believe that. And if we can get confidence, self-belief, positive thinking, motivation, emotional intelligence, and get all those skills, that's what employers are looking for on a daily basis. Good leaders of the future. That's what I think we have in this school. So I'd like to just end with sending out the right signals. And go on, I'll just find it. going to put myself out of the comfort zone a bit, and I'll give you a transcript of a radio conversation between the Australians and the British. Australians, please divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid a collision. British, suggest that you divert your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid a collision. Australians, I say again, you will have to divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid a collision. British, we are the aircraft carrier HMS Britannia, the second largest ship in the British Atlantic Fleet. We are accompanied by numerous support vessels, numerous cargo ships. I demand that you change your course 15 degrees to the north. I say again, that is 15 degrees to the north. Countermeasures will be undertaken to ensure the safety of this ship. Australians, we're the lighthouse, mate. Your call. For the next 21 days, just think about something you could do in the run-up to Christmas and beyond, into New Year, that you could change in just a small positive way that would have big impacts on people. Smile more. Get out of your comfort zone more. Maybe it's about saying yes and volunteering more. Maybe it's about tapping into your right brain or your left brain. Maybe it's about quietening the conscious mind, the one that says you can't, you won't, you're not good enough. Maybe it's about praising people, looking at the good in your parents, in your children, in everyone that's around us, and saying yes a bit more. Maybe it's just a little bit about taking a few risks. When people say to me, take care, I will say take risks. Just doing some things that are a bit different. Adam, that was totally amazing what you did. Well done. Thank you very much indeed.